What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Movement Six, and before we start, a huge thank you to everybody who subbed this week. It's a privilege to have you guys on the channel. If you're new here, drop a like, subscribe. I need to feed my children, and my wife got a pretty luxurious lifestyle, so I need to monetize this channel as soon as possible. Now, now that we've got the bullshit out of the way, Call of Duty Vanguard. It's out for a couple of weeks. I'm, and for the first time in a long time, I'm actually enjoying myself with the game. I can't lie. If the game runs, if it actually runs, then I'm actually having fun. But there is so much wrong with this game. It's almost a disgrace that they released this in the state it's in, despite the fact that it's got strong content from a multiplayer perspective. We're not going to touch zombies. We're not going to touch the single player campaign in terms of content here because we're looking at the multiplayer and just slightly zombies. And that's just overall. But what I want to do is just give my top 10 of things that really, really need to change quickly because the sales are pretty low for Call of Duty Vanguard. I think the community is fed up in general with Call of Duty. Franchise fatigue is how I call it. Every year, the same game. I think we've reached a breaking point. A lot of people playing Warzone see that as the new direction of Call of Duty, and oh my God, the multiplayer, the annual release. It's not good, guys. It's not good. Now let's start with number one. Let's start with number one. The overall stability of the game. As you can see in this example, as you can see in this, I can even shoot myself here. And this is not an incident. This is something that happens constantly. It happens constantly. If I will play a couple of hours, I will run into these issues constantly. And you always also have that weird, it's not even a bug, it's not even a glitch that I don't know how to call it. It's some kind of a spider that's just floating midair. You can also see the example now popping up. So this is, how can this be? If you've got 3 years of development time and your stability is so poor, we have server overloads, packet bursts, and I do understand what they're trying to do, in that's they want to reduce the file size, and they came up with a solution that makes the game constantly stream textures from a server to make sure that it's not locally. But the engine can't cope with it. That's clear. They can't cope with it. I mean, it can, but they need to optimize. They need to patch. They need to work on this. But if you've got 3 years of development, 3 years of development, and this is what you give your audience, it's absolutely an abomination to see what they've done. And this, as said, guys, it's not uncommon. It's not an incident. The game is massively unstable. It runs in issues almost every game. Um, Freezing. It frame rate drops. I've seen that as well. Not loading in your operators. Freezing when the game should start, so you need to back out. This is unacceptable, guys. This is unacceptable, and Sledgehammer needs to step up and work with this as soon as possible. Now, moving on to number two, and that is my personal annoying horseshit, and that is dogs. I'm sorry, guys, but the TTK is okay. I like these TTKs; they're a bit lower. That's why I also like the Battle Royale Warzone, because the TTK is not as high as usually with Battle Royales. That's why I hate Apex, because the TTK is so high. Um, but if you look at this multiplayer this year, Vanguard, the TTK is spot on. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But if you've got a German Shepherd that needs 4, 5, maybe 6 times the amount of bullets, it's a bullet sponge before it actually dies. It's absolutely horrible. It is absolutely horrible. I don't know if you guys have seen German Shepherds that can take a full clip and still move on, and especially in hardcore modes. In hardcore modes, it's even worse because hardcore is usually 1 or 2 shot kill, right? Headshot is instant death. with one shot. These guys, these German shepherds or these dogs, they take the same amount of bullets as in the normal mode, if you will. And that's completely unacceptable. It's so freaking OP. It's annoying. They either should kill it all, stop using this, patch it out, or patch it to a normal level that makes it pretty acceptable, right? Now the third one is the progression system. I would say, what progression system? There is no progression. I fully accept that we're preseason. Season one did not even drop, but there is nothing to grind for. There is nothing to grind for. When you win prestige, I'm now prestige two or something like that. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And how lazy is this? How freaking lazy is this? A progression system is in Call of Duty since Call of Duty started being Call of Duty, right? And it's not that hard if you're copying a Modern Warfare 2019 because that's what this game is. It is Modern Warfare 2019 with a new skin, right? Everything is the same. The gunsmith is the same, the handling is the same, the guns are different, but they feel the same, it plays the same. Everything is in there. They even copied the bugs. And if you're, that's the riot shield bug we'll tap on in a bit. But if you are allowed to copy all the bugs in, why don't you just copy also the progression system? How hard is that? You take the game, you put another skin on it, and you deliver it back. What they did, they took the game, keep the bugs in there, strip out the good stuff, and here you go. It's completely unacceptable. The argument that it's preseason doesn't mean a thing. So what? It's preseason. Preseason. People are playing it. People want to grind. People want to progress. People want to see rewards for the progression system. And there is nothing to do. Literally nothing to do. And that brings me on to four because the calling cards. How hard is it? If I go to my calling cards, I already grinded, right? In the game, you see something popping up like challenge complete. Here you go, a calling card. But if I go to the calling cards, it doesn't say what I've done for it. It doesn't say what I've done for it. And this is just copy paste from 2019, even from all the other Call of Duties. And they just completely kept. It is so freaking lazy. How can you make a game? Not even make a game, copying a game. Copy the bugs with it. The issues. Make it less stable than 2019. And then also take out the whole grinding, the progression, and the calling cards in terms of what it is. You can go to challenges, and it's pretty superficial. It's not even really a really in-depth thing you need to do. I think I've already done most of the challenges that are now in there. So I'm just very curious to see what they're going to do with all the other challenges because if this is it, holy shit, then Sledgehammer really needs to step up because in terms of what makes the game in terms of challenges, things to do, grind for, it's hardly anything. You can grind for camos, and I've already got a huge amount of guns and gold, so it's not that hard to progress. Especially when you're playing a lot of hardcore, things move really quickly. So, what is there to do? I'm so curious what they're going to do there in terms of progression system and calling cards because this is absolutely completely unacceptable what they give. And I'm constantly coming back to this fact. It's a game from 2019, exactly the same game, same engine, same game, same glitches, same. It's Modern Warfare 2019 with a freaking new skin on that. And they even took out all the things that make a Call of Duty game a Call of Duty game, grinding for stuff, right? And and then number five, guys, the glitches. The amount of glitches that are in this game, the riot shield glitch, it's still in there. It is still in there. If you run a an overkill with a riot shield and a shotgun, you're practically invincible. You are. And what do you think about the out of map glitches? Take shipment for example. You can go out of the map, stand on the barbed wire, and on the side you can walk past the containers. And you can just sit there and shoot people, especially in a hardcore mode. You can get easy 25, 30 kills if you want. Because the spawns are so freaking horrible because that's part of my glitches. The spawns. What spawns? They just randomly catapult you in a freaking map. And especially in a place like Shipment, the spawns are pretty damn important. I had 10 spawns back to back where I just spawn die, spawn die, spawn die, spawn die. Can't go anywhere. How hard is it to optimize that code to make sure that the spawns are good? I know the spawns are a debatable issue since, I don't know, since fucking forever. And they pour out a we love to hear your feedback form. Why do you want to have the feedback from us? Why? The glitches are the same, the feedback is the same, the issues are the same. Work on the issues and the glitches and the bullshit and the stability before you put out a survey. You know what we think. You know what we think. The shield glitch, the out of map glitch, and the whole freaking bullshit with the spawning. It's absolutely horrible, guys. It's absolutely horrible. And number 6 is still the skill based matchmaking. I've got no idea. You know, we live in 2021, and apart from the game being woke on all kinds of, we're constantly worried about what weaker people find of this game. So what? So freaking what? Grow up here. You know, fine. Just drop people in a lobby, stay in that lobby. That was always the fun back in the days. You know, those Modern Warfare 2 lobbies when you get out of the game, people leave and then they just drop a few in there. Just randomly search for a game and just keep that lobby the lobby. Don't break up the lobby and then search again. Why? You know, why? It completely makes the game sweaty, and this game is not meant to be sweaty. It's meant to be fun and arcade. That's what Call of Duty should be. And that brings me immediately in number 7. That's your team, enemy team. I already addressed this in the previous video. Why are we so afraid to just name things how they are? You know, in World War II, you had the Japanese, you had the Italians, you had the resistance, you had the Nazis, you had the British, you had the Americans, you had the Canadians. I'm already naming a few factions you can just randomly get appointed. And why not? In World at War, we were also playing like Germans. It was fun. You know, it was just freaking fun. Germans fought in World War II. Maybe it's a shocker to people, but my team, enemy team, and all the teams are the same. All the teams are the same. And that's also the weird shit. Allies are killing allies in this game. And I, to an extent, you know, then you can have factions like, for example, 101st Airborne fighting the Canadians. Because it's multiplayer, so mix shit up. It's fun. If you want to do that, okay, fine, do it. Or Americans fighting the Japanese. And you're able to grind those Japanese guns and the Japanese suits or the camos or whatever. You can do so much things with that. We know it, you know. Multiplayer is an imagination of an era and using that setting to put a multiplayer in there. But my team, your team, enemy team, what the fuck? What the fuck? We're playing against allies. You know, we've got those lady from the French resistance shooting an American. Okay, well if you already crossed that line, then why not just name it what it is? French resistance, Free French Army. You have you can even take a Desert Fox type of, you know, that was the war and with the tanks. You can do so many things, and just name it what it is, and stop just sugarcoating shit. And that makes me come back to number 8, add real World War teams and characters. I already opened it up a bit with your team, enemy team, but make those characters real. Make a 101st Airborne Division, something like that, or an American, and a British, and a Canadian, and a Japanese, and even the Nazis. Just throw the Germans in there, you know, and let people grind them for those uniforms. I can fully understand. I'm not a Nazi. I hate that. But if you want to make something, just be creative and let people know what the factions are or the parties were that were fighting in the World War II. Why is it so hard just to tell the facts? Just Stop sugarcoating things. It's World War II. It's 80 years ago. It was one of the darkest ages in human history. But people should also learn a bit. You're able to give a platform where people learn people how it worked, what happened. There's so many stories to be told, and especially in the single player. Why the hell do you make shit up? It's not even a World War II single player game apart from the setting. And there are a few things in there you could relate to. You know, the sniper in Stalingrad, it's female. That could be because the only females in the front line were on the Russian side. Give people education through this video game. You're able to do it. You're able to do it. Now, coming on number 9, guys, this is the biggest thing they should, and it's not a sledgehammer thing per se. It's the annual release cycle. They should really stop doing that at all, because the reason why Vanguard is being hurt so much is people stop playing this and move to Warzone entirely. And if you want to make sure that people also play the single player game, make Warzone the center of attention, change it to the Pacific, World War II team, and every 3 to 4 months, let Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, and Triarch bring out content, paid and unpaid. I think people are willing to pay for good content, but not in that annual release cycle where they get the same game every year. People just wait for Warzone. And maybe they buy it when it's on the budget to use the guns in Warzone, Vanguard it is. But what are you missing out? Absolutely nothing in general. So stop this annual release cycle and start thinking about that new business model. You got gold in your hands with Warzone. Build a universe around that with seasonal content, multiplayer, battle royale, and you got a zombie mode. You can mix that shit up. You can do so many creative things with that. And they just don't do it. They always stick to that annual release cycle of that game of 70, €80. It's always unfinished. It's always buggy. It's always bullshit. And now we finally have a good multiplayer in hands, and they still manage to fuck it up. And I want to close down, guys. I'm already talking about 70, 80 minutes. I want to close down with zombies. I'm not going to show you any content of it because I've tried it a couple of times, and Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. Triarch even made this zombie, and it is so freaking lazy. I already paid a lot of attention to this. It's so freaking lazy. Pack-a-punch doesn't work in most times. Pack-a-punch, no camo on your weapon. Pack-a-punch, no actual sound on your weapon, so you don't even know that you're pack-a-punch. They got everything from Cold War, and they still managed to fuck it up. It's lazy, it's dumb, it doesn't even have dedicated maps. Well, okay, some areas are dedicated, but it's very small. The rest are just multiplayer maps. They just ported to zombies and made it dark. That's it. It is so lazy, and the story is dumb, dull, and interesting. I actually like the zombies in Cold War, and this is what I mean. If you take Warzone at the center, you have that good zombies, for example, from Cold War, and you can expand on that. You can create a new team, a World War II team with Nazi zombies, and you can create a fantastic story that gives more context of the Cold War story that was there, and then go to the past, have some flashbacks. You can do so many creative things with this. So many creative things. You can even explain how the Cold War story came to be from a World War II perspective. You can do so many things. Take Warzone, multiplayer, zombies, and then give seasonal content by Triarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer. That's it. So these are my 10 points. These are my 10 points I really want to see addressed. And of course, the stability and the glitches are the main. But there are so many things surrounding this game which is hurting the franchise so freaking hard, guys. And I'm really curious. What do you think? What do you think? What are you doing? Did I miss anything? What is your input for Vanguard to maybe save Vanguard? Really keen to understand what your insights are, guys. This was for me. It's Movement 6. Out. Back to the madness.